Welcome to Review Set Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair.
Blair, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm doing really well. We've officially made it to the end of April, a month we've been calling Ha Ha Horror Month. And let me tell you, I am sad to see April come to an end. This might have been one of my favorite months we've done yet.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, man. It's
a
lot
ton of fun. Yeah, this month was a lot of fun, and we've watched some hilariously scary movies. But as the great George Harrison once said, all things must pass. But we do have one last review to do this month. But before we do that, what do you say we chat a little bit about some horror news?
This is horror news.
Blairski, you got some horror news?
I do indeed. So it has been announced that not one, but two entries to the Evil Dead franchise are currently in the works. The first being a Sebastian Vanek film, which we have already discussed on the podcast. That is supposed to be a direct sequel to Evil Dead Rise. The second, just recently announced, is being made by Francis Galuppi and Ghost House Pictures and will be a one-off project based in the Evil Dead universe that Galuppi pitched to Sam Raimi himself. No more news yet as far as release dates or exact plot for either film.
But very, very cool. I like the idea, obviously, of a continuation of Evil Dead Rise, just because you and I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Also really cool to see any kind of film taking place in that universe. Apparently, Sam Raimi's all over the idea of getting like young up-and-coming directors to add to the universe that is Evil Dead. Pretty cool.
100%, man. That's my favorite franchise, so I cannot freaking wait for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last piece of horror news I have. It may only be April, but Spirit Halloween has already declared the start of spooky season, and to celebrate, they are giving fans a chance to win an overnight stay with up to 12 of their friends in the infamous Lizzie Borden house.
Whoa.
The prize includes an exclusive guided tour, a late-night ghost tour, private breakfast in the Borden family dining room, a ghost hunting starter kit, ultimate Lizzie Borden gift pack, which includes an official hatchet, a board game, and a haunted doll. And finally, the winner can also choose between a ghost tour experience in Salem or a true crime experience in Boston. If anyone wants to enter the contest, you can enter it by checking out Spirit Halloween's Instagram account.
So I think we should stop everything and immediately enter that contest.
It's a pretty cool prize, eh?
Now, what would you rather do, the true crime tour through Boston or the tour through Salem?
They both sound awesome to me. Yeah. I'd rather do the Salem, to be honest.
Agreed. I've always wanted to go to Salem. That would be a wild trip. A lot of fun.
And to do it as a ghost tour in Salem, like that would be pretty awesome, man. That would be pretty awesome.
A lot of history there.
100%. But yeah, that's all I got for horror news this week, though, man.
Excellent news. I've got two pieces here. The upcoming Strangers Chapter 1 has gotten its final rating, and surprise, surprise, it will be released with an R rating.
Yeah, figured as
R
much.
rating, for horror, violence, language, and brief drug use. The Strangers Chapter 1 will be released right away, May 17th, 2024.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, there was a couple different release dates that had popped up recently for up-and-coming movies. Not surprised by any of them, especially The Strangers Chapter 1. Yeah. Anything less than an R rating would be a bit disappointing, I think.
100%,
yeah. And then finally, Paramount Plus has just announced they are working on a prequel to the 1968 Mia Farrow horror classic, Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, right on.
Titled Apartment 7A. No release date as of yet, but they are hoping for a Halloween release. Will be Paramount Plus, but it will be a straight-to-streaming movie. It won't be a miniseries. It'll be a movie. So kind of cool.
Did you say prequel or sequel?
It will prequel.
Okay, cool.
Prequel to Rosemary's Baby, which
Cool
is kind of
stuff.
neat. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, what do you say we jump into this week's episode? The last episode of Ha Ha Horror Month goes to the 2004 zombie classic, Shaun of the Dead. Runtime on this one, 1 hour, 39 minutes. Blairski, initial thoughts on the runtime?
Right in their wheelhouse. Could have been maybe longer, but I think it's perfect, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect perfect runtime for this film. It was perfect. Yeah. This leads us to fun facts.
Fun facts. Facts that are fun.
Blairski, you got some fun facts for 2004 Shaun of the Dead?
Well, did you know this movie is actually the first of a trilogy?
Yeah.
Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg's Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy consists of this film, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End,
Yeah.
which I did know were all Wright and Pegg films, but I did not know they were considered part of a trilogy together.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, kind of cool, but
they've worked quite a bit together, and obviously Simon Pegg and Nick Frost have worked a ton together too.
yeah, they're in
Go out and see
together.
Yeah, go out and see all those movies. They're great.
This movie was also inspired by an episode of Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright's sitcom titled Spaced, which involves Pegg's character hallucinating a zombie invasion after playing Resident Evil 2 while on drugs.
Very cool.
That's so cool. Final fun fact I have here is Wright and Pegg wrote the screenplay in just 8 weeks and were inspired by many previous films, including Night of the Living Dead, obviously, Dawn of the Dead, Raising Arizona, Back to the Future, Brain Dead, and The Birds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so some in there, of course, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, you'd expect. I was not expecting, Back to the Future to be in there.
Raising Arizona.
Raising Arizona, or even The Birds, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Very cool. Anything else for fun facts?
That's all I got this week, man.
I got a couple here. Apparently, king of the zombie genre, George A. Romero, got a private viewing of the film.
Okay, right on.
And he loved it.
How
He
can you
absolutely loved it. Yeah.
How can you blame him?
Yeah. I didn't look up the conversion, but it cost £4 million to make, and it grossed £30 million. Huge. Apparently, Edgar Wright's mother used to call him Pickle, which is where they got the inspiration for Shaun, the character Shaun's mother, to call Shaun Pickle during the movie.
That's hilarious.
In 2011, BBC Radio 1 did a poll to rank the greatest movies of all time. Shaun of the Dead came in second for greatest movies of all time.
Right on.
Losing out only to The Shawshank Redemption.
All right. Fair, I guess. That's a pretty good movie. So
Yeah. Two more here, shot over 9 weeks. And then finally, the rifle the group uses in the Winchester is a Winchester Model 66, the same gun model used in the Night of the Living Dead, 1968.
Right on.
Yeah, really, really cool.
That's super cool.
Okay, let's talk about the fine folks who made this film possible. Kicking it off, directed by the legendary Edgar Wright, also directed 2007's Hot Fuzz, 2010's Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, 2017's Baby Driver, 2021's Last Night in Soho, and the fake trailer, Don't, which appeared in the Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez double feature Grindhouse.
Yeah, alongside Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. What was the
Machete?
Yeah, Machete. There was the Rob Zombie one, the Werewolf Women of the SS, I believe was its title. Yeah. This one written by, of course, Edgar Wright, also wrote 2015's Ant-Man and 2011's The Adventures of Tintin, just to name a few. Also written by Simon Pegg, wrote 2011's Paul, which is an excellent movie.
So good.
2007's Run, Fat Boy, Run, which is an excellent movie. 14 episodes of the television show Spaced. Blair, you just mentioned that.
Yeah.
2013's The World's End, and 2016's Star Trek Beyond, just to name a few. This one starring Simon Pegg as Shaun, also starred in Mission Impossible 3, and I believe 3 other Mission Impossible movies.
I think he's in most of them. Yeah.
Yeah, of at least the revamp. Not in the first 2, but I think in every single one since the 3rd one.
Okay.
Who knows?
I don't even know how many there are now.
Yeah, me neither. Also starred in Star Wars The Force Awakens, 2009 Star Trek, Hot Fuzz, Paul, and Hector and the Search for Happiness, just to name a few. Kind of cool that he appears in both the Star Wars and Star Trek franchises.
Yeah, really
neat.
cool.
Yeah. Starring Nick Frost as Ed, also starred in 26 episodes of Into the Badlands, 2009's Pirate Radio, Hot Fuzz, Paul, 14 episodes of Spaced, and 2019's Fighting with My Family, which is a pretty good wrestling movie for any of those wrestling fans out there. And then finally, Kate Ashfield as Liz, also starred in 20 episodes of Sandition, 2023's Bodies, the TV series His Dark Materials, and 5 episodes of the TV series Life. Now, I only did list off 3 performers in this movie.
Fair.
Don't get me wrong, though. This movie, and we'll get into it in likes and dislikes, this is an ensemble piece. This movie works so well with the comedy because of the ensemble.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. We'll save the rest for likes and dislikes.
All right.
Before then, let's jump to synopsis, courtesy of our dear friends at IMDb. The uneventful, aimless aimless lives of a London electronics salesman and his lie-about roommate are disrupted by a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
Yeah, pretty much. It sounds a little AI-ish.
A little bit, but
it's, I mean, that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. This leads us to kill count.
Kill count. The time of the show we count the kills.
Blairski, do we have a kill count for 2004 Shaun of the Dead?
Well, as per most zombie movies, it's near impossible to count, especially while you're watching it. However, we do have kill counts, Jesse. We got a couple different ones that I found online.
Okay.
So, according to the List of Deaths fandom page, we have a total kill count of 142, broken down to 80 humans, 61 zombies, and 1 animal. I'm pretty sure with that kill count, they include all the off-screen deaths, though, that you don't see.
Yeah.
So another listing online, the Dead Meat fandom lists the total kill count of just 24 counted deaths, which I'm pretty sure are the ones you see on screen.
Right. Zombie movies are we've run into this before. They're so hard to come up with a firm number.
It's tough.
Just because it's like, what do you consider dead? Because are they living? Are they dead? Are they the living dead? You know, where do you draw the line?
If they turn into a zombie and then die as a zombie, do you count that twice?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Right. Yeah, exactly. This is a good segue to likes and dislikes. Likes, dislikes, likes, dislikes, and everything in between. The portion of the show where we chat about what we liked, what we didn't like, and everything in between. Blairski, the kills in this one?
Oh, the kills are great, man.
Yeah,
the kills are great. They're funny. They are bloody. It's actually a quite gory movie for a comedy. I love the kills in this movie, man.
Yeah, agreed. And I like how the characters get more accustomed to the killings as the movie goes on. The first couple, they're pretty horrified to be doing what they have to do.
Yeah, and they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, and there's a couple kills in the movie that they're tough kills to make for the characters.
Yeah. I love the very first kill with the girl in the backyard, and they initially push her onto that pole.
Yeah, the umbrella stand.
Oh, it's so funny, man. It's so good.
Yeah, and they're just so alarmed. And I think where a lot of the humor in this movie lies is where the characters are just so oblivious
Yeah.
to what's going on in
Yeah.
their surroundings. Even it takes them a while to realize, oh wait, they're zombies, you know.
Bro, halfway through the movie.
Yeah, they're just so out of tune with what's going on.
They go
Even
through-
when this thing with the dead girl or with the zombie and the umbrella stand happens, they're still like, oh my God, we've committed murder to this,
Yeah.
this poor girl who was just maybe had too much to drink.
Yeah, they have no idea. Yes, they
Yeah.
go through the first half of the movie, just going about their days while the world around them is basically burning, and they have no freaking idea. It is so funny.
Zero. Yeah. So we had chatted about dynamic duos in
Mhm.
our Tucker and Dale versus Evil episode.
Yeah,
And I thought it couldn't get much better than that. And then I remembered that Shaun of the Dead has Simon Pegg and Nick Frost together. And those two in any movie is just like, it's perfect harmony. The two of them are just so brilliant and charming and lovable. They seem so real and personable as well.
yeah,
They just, I think everyone who sees this movie has a Sean or an Ed in their life.
yeah.
Or
for
maybe,
sure.
or maybe they are a Sean or an Ed.
Yeah,
The characters are just so relatable, I feel.
they are, and not just in this movie. Like they're the same in Hot Fuzz. They're the same in Paul.
In
Another
Paul,
great movie.
yeah. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
They're so good together. They feed off each other so well.
Yeah. I mean, those two are obviously the standout performances just because they're the two leads in this movie.
Yeah.
But the comedy is so great in this movie. And it's not even the dialogue that's so strong. I mean, thinking of a movie like What We Do in the Shadows,
Yeah.
the performances are top notch, but the dialogue is also just like unbelievably funny. This movie, the dialogue is funny, but a lot of the comedy is just within the performances of the ensemble.
Yeah. 100%.
Like it was perfectly casted. Each character is so well thought out and fleshed out.
Yeah.
They know exactly who they are, and the lines are just delivered so well.
I love Nick Frost. Don't get me wrong, but his character in this movie is such a freaking douchebag.
Yeah, he is. He's
such
an
a
ass.
douchebag, and he
Yeah.
plays it so good. He plays it so well.
Him and Sean. I mean, Sean
Yeah.
is an ass up
Yeah.
until, for the first 40 minutes of this movie, he's an ass. It's
Yeah.
just he's a guy who doesn't have his life together. And he has a bunch of people telling him, get his life together.
Yeah.
Whereas Ed's character is another guy who doesn't have his life together.
He knows it.
And he's okay with that. And he
Yeah.
also doesn't have anyone telling him to get his life together. Ed is going to be the same person for his whole life. You know,
Yeah.
Sean still has a chance.
So good, man.
What else did you really like about this one?
I like the soundtrack to this movie.
Yeah.
I did like it. I did like the soundtrack. We talked about the makeup. Well, we'll talk about it again. The makeup was really good. The zombies looked really cool.
Yeah.
Usually in zombie movies, I like the really fast, relentless zombies, the ones that run after you.
Yeah.
This one, they're super, super slow, and it's very fitting for this movie. This movie wouldn't be nearly as funny as it is if they did have those fast, like almost super zombies. So
Right.
I did love their choice in making that pick for the zombies in this movie.
I find that fast zombies work if the protagonist characters also are like they have huge skill sets. So if they're wildly athletic or they're super smart. And I think with them going with the slow zombies to kind of match that very normal character set of the protagonists, I think it works perfectly. I mean, none of them are overly athletic, none of them are overly bright.
No.
They're just there's nothing special about these characters. They're just so normal.
No, that's what I'm saying. If they use this fast super zombies in this movie, those characters would not survive.
They wouldn't have stood a chance. But at least with these slow walking zombies, they stand a chance to go a little bit further. And that's, I mean, it's not saying that they're going to survive, another year, but at least they're going to survive for another day kind of thing,
Well, and also the slow moving zombie gives room for those gags. Like going through your record album. They have literally the time to go through their record album, trying to find, ones that they don't really like that they can use as weapons against the zombies while the zombie is slowly walking towards them.
I love it. And it's kind of, they're going back and forth. They're just, oh yeah, wait, we're in this situation. There's zombies. But at the same time, it's my favorite scene of the movie. They have great shout outs to New Order and one of my favorite bands, the Stone Roses. And it's great because they're going through these, these vinyl records, and it's like, what is really worth throwing?
Yeah.
Is it the Batman soundtrack? It might just be the Batman soundtrack.
It might have to be, right?
Oh goodness, what a great scene.
Oh, it's so good. The set in this movie, I loved how everything's so close. Like Shaun's house, his work, the bar, like everything's within like a block walking distance, it seems, in this movie.
It kind of narrows down that idea of like an English estate where it's everyone in the town, you go into the corner shop in the morning to get your whatever to get through the day. The clerk by name. If the clerk's not at the counter, you leave the change. If you don't have the change, you'll get them next time. Like it's just builds up this community. And then obviously when you have the survivors, it's a community within this already small community. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, me too. Even the idea of like a local pub, the Winchester itself is almost like a character in this movie.
Well, speaking of the pub, I just love how everything comes back to that pub. It's the place to be. It's where everyone meets up. It's where they go to survive. Everything goes back to the Winchester. It's hilarious.
And it's such an English thing, or like a UK thing where it's, every small town has maybe 2 or 3 pubs, and you go to your local, you go to your local pub, you see the same faces in there every day. And if you see a new face in there, it's kind of odd, It's who's that person? I've never seen them before. They maybe don't belong in here.
Yeah, you walk in, never been there before. Everyone's just staring you down. That kind of place.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, we're big opening credit fans.
Yeah.
We mention it every episode. I love this one.
Yeah, it's good.
These opening credits with the people going about their day, day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
Not yet your zombies in a traditional sense, but very much zombies to the man. They're
zombies,
all tired.
Yeah, zombies to living.
Yeah, they're all just kind of going through the motions of getting through the day. They're waking up, they're going to work, they're queuing in line, they're eating lunch, they're going home from work. Like it's just repetition. They're zombies before they become zombies. I kind of like that.
I love that. I noticed it right away. Actually, we were watching it. I was watching it with Rachel, and she mentioned that right off the bat. She's like, they're already zombies.
Already right off the bat. And it's kind of cool because when they do turn into zombies, you'll notice some of the zombies doing the same thing. I immediately go to the young kid who's kicking the soccer ball up against the garden fence.
Yeah.
And even as a zombie, he's doing the same thing. I like the idea that it's like, a zombie kid would still be kicking a soccer ball. I like that.
Still doing the exact same thing.
Oh, so good. Now, is there anything you didn't really like about this one?
Nope, nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing written down anyway. And I actually only have one more written down that I want to talk about.
Yeah, of course.
And that's probably one of my favorite scenes in this movie, which is the doppelganger scene.
Oh my God, it's so good.
So good. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the scene in Anchorman when all the different news crews meet up and brawl.
The giant fight scene. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if either of those movies kind of inspired each other for that. They were released the exact same year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, the movies were, but it totally reminded me of that, big time. It really did.
I love that idea. It was very it felt very cartoonish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
And even when they were, I love that scene when the two groups are passing each other and each character has an interaction with their doppelganger.
Yeah,
I love it.
Hello, whether it's a hi or they say a word or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the Nick Frost interaction was the best. They're both on their phone, just a simple grunt. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. I think they were the last in the lines to pass each other as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about this movie.
Mhm.
I don't have anything really bad to say about any Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost collaborations.
They're all
I
so good,
highly
man.
recommend going and watching all of them. They're such a light watch. It's great.
You know what? This month it's been tough finding bad things about any of the movies we watched.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's just like we've mentioned it before, but I think this month is truly a combination of what you and I love
Yeah.
so much. I mean, we both love horror so much, but we're both such comedy heads as well, where
Yeah.
it's just like this is the perfect combination.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can even tell by by these 5 films that we've watched this month that sometimes it works really, really well, throwing in a couple laughs.
Oh, 100% it does. 100% it does.
Okay, what do you say we move along to our next segment?
Yeah, let's do it.
A segment we like to call Lessons We Learned from Watching 2004's Shaun of the Dead.
Lessons we learned from watching. Insert title of movie here.
The portion of the show where we discuss the valuable life lessons we learned from watching said movie Blairski.
Yes, sir.
Did you learn a single thing from Shaun of the Dead?
I did, and we've kind of discussed both of these things already, but I learned the importance of vinyl record organization.
Yeah.
You never know when you'll have to use your collection as a weapon against a zombie horde. Do yourself a favor and organize your collection by importance and value to save yourself time if the situation ever arises.
100%.
The last thing I learned is the importance of paying attention to your surroundings. The entire world around you could be burning to the ground, or in the case of this movie, being overrun by a horde of zombies. And unless you stop for a moment and just take a look, you might not even notice.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a couple here. Exacerbate means to make things worse.
Okay, I missed that.
Also learned that dogs can't look up.
Okay.
I learned the only thing that will redeem mankind is cooperation. And then finally, there is no I in team, but there is an I in pie, like meat pie, and meat is an anagram of team.
Oh, so funny.
I guess there is an I in team. So good. What a great line.
So good. So good.
This leads us to our next segment, one of our favorites, Line of the Night.
Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night.
The segment of the show where we discuss our favorite lines from the movie. They might give us chills. They might give us the giggles. All we know is that they are our favorites, Blairski.
Yes, sir.
Got a couple lines from this one?
I do. Well, my first one, you just said it. There's no I in team, but there's an I in pie, and there's an I in meat pie. Anagram of meat is team.
Yeah.
Which was said by Mr. Sloan. So funny, man. Such a funny
So
line.
good. So good.
But yeah, that was already said. Next line of the night, we're coming to get you, Barbara.
Oh,
Said by Ed, and a great throwback to the OG film, Night of the Living Dead.
apparently when George A. Romero was shown that private screening of the film, it went over his head.
Oh, really?
He missed that line, that iconic line from Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, from his movie.
Yeah.
The final line I have is said by multiple people to Shaun throughout the entire film, which is, "You've got red on you."
Iconic.
It's so iconic.
Iconic.
Which is, I guess, just their term of letting him know he's got blood on him. But it's just so funny that it's always just, "You've got red on you."
Well, it's blood, and then at the beginning he has his red pen that leaks into his shirt.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So it's the red, but it's just, you got red on you. It's not you've spilled something. You got red on you. I love it.
Yeah, people just walk past him. "You've got red on you."
Yeah. I've got a couple here. David, kill the Queen. Shaun says that as we hear "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen playing on the jukebox. We have Shaun say "fuck a doodle doo," which is pretty excellent. This one Ed says a couple times. He says, "I'll stop doing them when you stop laughing." And this is when he likes to fart near
Yeah.
Shaun, which is great. This is said a couple different ways throughout the movie, but this is the final plan they come up with, which is take car, go to Mum's, kill Philip, grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all of this to blow over.
Yeah, except they don't
So
kill
good.
Philip.
No, they do not. And then finally, Ed says, "Who died and made you fucking king of the zombies?"
Yeah.
Which I love. So good. Okay, this leads us to our final segment of the show. Some might say it is our favorite segment.
In my top 5 for sure.
Top 5, definitely top 5. Just squeezes into the top 5. Celebrity lookalike time.
Celebrity lookalike time.
The time of the show where we take a look at the cast and discuss their celebrity doppelgangers. Spoiler alert. It usually comes down to the character's hairstyle Blairski.
Yes, sir.
You got a couple celebrity lookalike times?
I do indeed. The character Liz, to me, looked a little bit like Jennifer Tilly.
Okay.
The character David reminded me of Harry Potter himself, Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, the big part of that's the hair and glasses.
Yeah.
And finally, we got the doppelganger scene where everyone from Shaun's survival group kind of is looking like everyone from the character Yvonne's survival group, which we talked about earlier. Great scene.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a couple here. Shaun looks a bit like the drummer from Metallica, Lars Ulrich.
Yeah, okay.
Liz looks a little bit like recording artist Dido.
All right. Yeah, I can see that for sure.
And then finally, when Shaun is wearing the headband or the red headband in the Winchester, he reminds me of Christopher Walken in The Deer Hunter. Okay. And it's mostly because of the headband.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. This leads us to our final rating for 2004 Shaun of the Dead Blairski.
Yes,
out of
sir.
5 Nick Frost orangutan impersonations out of 5, what are you going to give Shaun of the Dead?
What a way to end the month, man. I'm giving Shaun of the Dead 4.5 Nick Frost orangutan impressions out of 5.
Excellent. Excellent rating. I'm going to go a little bit lower. 4 Nick Frost orangutan impersonations out of 5. This movie rocks.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot
Go
of fun.
and watch this movie immediately. If somebody hasn't watched it, make them watch it. This movie's great.
While you're at it, watch Hot Fuzz, watch Paul.
Oh,
they're all
Hot
good.
Fuzz,
They're all good.
Paul, Run Fat Boy Run. They're all
they're
excellent.
All
yeah, no stinkers in the bunch. This month was great.
It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. I know that we had this on a list of themes to do last year, and we just never came around to it. I loved it. This was a ton of fun.
Should do it every year, I think.
I think so. Maybe going forward, this will become a staple. Why not?
There's enough movies.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. It was hard to narrow it down to the final 5, but I think we did a pretty good job.
We did a bang up job, buddy.
I'm excited for next month, though. After that's all said and done, I am excited for next month. I think we're going to have some great episodes coming out. But until then, this has been Review Set Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
And I'm Blair. Remember to stay scary.
And eat every sandwich. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to Review Set Scare. Make sure you check out our Linktree at linktree/reviewsetscare. That's linktr.ee/reviewsetscare, which has links to our Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, and many other things. If you'd like to email us, you can reach us at reviewsetscare@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and remember to stay scary and eat every sandwich. A proud member of Pod Nation TV.